If you saw the trailer for this movie, you're probably thinking, hey, this kind of looks like a John Wick just with a pig. You're wrong. This is not John Wick. Do not go into this thinking about this, because this is a completely different type of movie, and I loved it. You need to see Pig. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. My name is Zach, and if you guys are new here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because I love talking movies, and if you're here, you probably also love talking movies too. So let's make sure to have a great conversation down below in the comment section. Of course, today we are talking about Pig. This once again stars the likes of Nicolas Cage and Alex Wolff, but it is also directed by first-time director Michael Cernowski. Now, this movie is about a truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregon wilderness who must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved pig after she is kidnapped. Again, when you hear that concept and you see the trailer, you probably get that idea that, hey, this may be a slow burn at times, but there's probably some awesome action set pieces in here. Nicolas Cage going crazy and berserk like he did in Mandy or many of his other movies and going after the piggy. He's not. Again, he's going after the pig, but this is very much, again, a more emotional look on this whole entire venture, and very much a guy who's going back to his past and opening up doors that you would not believe. This is seriously a movie. This is one of the best films of the year. And I didn't think I would go into this thinking this. I knew this was going to be at least a good movie, but this is a phenomenal film. And it won't be for everyone, because it does have a slow burning pace to it all, but that methodical pacing really much opens so many different avenues for this character to really be explored in. It very much makes it a character study that I think many of you guys are going to be pretty enhanced by. If we are comparing it to something like John Wick, one of the best things about John Wick is the way that it really much builds up the world and the character itself, this mythology behind him. And in a sense, Nicolas Cage's character is kind of the same way. There's a lot to him. Along this adventure, you learn more about his character, about his past, what is going on with him, and in general, who he was before he was this guy just living in the wilderness hunting truffles. Also, the other great thing that's really much developed in here is that relationship between Nicolas Cage and the pig. Because as you're watching this, I think pigs are cute, they're fun, but for me, that's a big piece of it, is building that relationship. And when you see the joyous, the care, the fun between them both in the early acts of this movie, you're sitting there like, wow, I'm really into this and I love their relationship. And if you didn't get to see the documentary Truffle Hunters earlier this year, this would make such a great companion piece if you watch that and then go watch this, because Jesus Christ, there's so much in there to dissect, but you really much understand more of everything going on. That again goes to why I was so in love with this movie, is because of that direction that it took. It could have, again, been another John Wick clone, but Michael Cernowski takes this idea and runs with it in such a great directorial debut, and also a wonderful script that, again, dives into a character. And, if you look at this guy on the outside, you're just kind of judging him by a book by its cover, which we're not supposed to do, but many people do anyways, and that's how many people are doing it. But again, as people start to understand who he was in the past, they start to open up a little bit more in unique ways. And again, you have to be a little bit vague with this film, because there are spoilers in here that I do think will, if you know and find out about beforehand, you'll kind of sit there and be like, I wish I didn't know that going into the movie. And I feel like for this, there's just so much to really dive into with this character that you just wonder, like, how does someone get to this point? Even though someone does, one of the biggest themes in this entire movie is finding meaning in the meaningless. And for me, you look around me, you might think this kid's insane. This 24-year-old guy has a Baby Yoda, Funko Pops, toys, physical media, all sorts of like that. And for me, it means something to me. Even though it's meaningless, like if I lost it all one day, okay, cool, like I can always rebuild. There's always something in there, and for everyone, there's something that means a lot to you, but in a way, to someone else, it's probably meaningless to them. The way that this film, again, builds that relationship between Nick Cage and the pig, and you really much start to learn the meaning of that, it's very special, and for me, it's one of the best aspects of the entire movie. And for me, there's one direct line in here that, God, I wish I could quote, but I really don't want to give it away. It's towards the third act, and I just sat there just in awe of Nicolas Cage's performance. Again, mentioning Nicolas Cage's performance is one of the biggest aspects of this. Like I said, this is one of my favorite films of his entire career. He's, again, been doing these really eccentric and unique independent films. Some really work, some don't, and some kind of just mix in with the others. This one stands far out against everything else, and I just sat there just in love with Cage's performance. It's so subdued, it's so emotional, and it's so different than anything he has done recently, and I love it because he expresses so much emotion in just certain glares and just in certain line delivery that you're sitting there understanding everything this guy is feeling, but at the same time wanting to be there and just hug the damn dude. His journey to getting this damn pig again, you are locked in the entire time. You want to find the damn pig with him, and you are set onto this adventure. Also giving a shout out, Alex Wolff. I've really enjoyed his performances over the last couple of years, but I really loved him in here, and I feel like this is a little bit of a different venture, and his chemistry between him and Cage is really good. Like I mentioned once again, the film does take a subdued turn that is not normal to every single person. It opens up this emotional past that, you know, really shows that everyone does have something to them. And for me, one of the biggest things about this, and this is where it really will differentiate for every single person, the pacing is really slow. This movie's only an hour and 32 minutes, and honestly, it did feel a little bit longer. But for me, in a weird way, that wasn't a con. I was along for the venture, and I really did feel like I was in Nicolas Cage's footsteps the entire way through. And I'm sure for him, even though this takes place in the span of a couple days, it felt like years because of you losing something that's so precious and meaningful to you. And honestly, when you think about that, nothing could possibly replace it. No amount of money could, and no other pig could or other animal. There's just something special with inside of there. And that goes again to why I feel like this film is so important, because of the way that it does that. And again, without that slow burn, without that slow pacing, you're going to miss out on building and building up to the finale, which again, I think I really liked the finale. Talking to some people who also saw the film, some of them were a little bit iffy on it, but I loved where it ended up going. And while it was very much, holy shit, it's a more, again, smaller, subdued ending that doesn't end in the way that you think it would. And that kind of goes to the reasons of why I love Pig so much. It does come to cons, though. I do think there's one thing. There is a particular villain, if you want to call him a villain in this, and I really don't think there is an actual antagonist, but the antagonist in here I feel like was very one note for just being one note, and I do think there should have been a little bit more development for him, and in general, some of the companions around him. Again, gotta stay vague for that, but I do wish that it was a little bit less one note on that, because again, even though you're giving a lot of development to Alex Wolff and Nicolas Cage's character, that central character, I think, did need a little bit more to him, even though the performance was good. Pig is not just one of the best films of 2021, it's personally one of my favorite Nicolas Cage performances yet. It's not Mandy, it is not a John Wick clone, it's a somber, subdued, and profound film on the meaning and the meaningless of things to others and ourselves. Honest to God, walked away in love, and Cage turns in one of the best performances so far this year. This is a movie that you should not miss. If you are into independent films, and especially films that are just very out there and different, especially based on the concept, if you're looking for an emotional experience, this one is going to be for you, so that is why I'm going to give Pig an A. Thank you once again, guys, for clicking on this. You guys are seriously all the best. I cannot wait to hear your guys' thoughts on this, so make sure to comment down below. Let me know if you're looking forward to Pig. Have you already seen it? Are you going to see it this weekend? Let's discuss it, as well as head on over to Sam Shun Films on how to see films early. And of course, just a big thank you to you, and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I would not be able to do this. So of course, until next time, stay classy.